with the 2007 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, yeah, that was a good experience. Even though I didn't watch it from 2007, it was a completely different year for me. It was around 2016 when I first watched it.
Oh,
Interesting.
Yeah, because I first watched it in Nicktoons.
Wow.
And you fellas?
yeah.
I used to have it on DVD many years ago. Of course, it was scratched up. Sometimes it's skipped, but it's still a pretty good movie. I like the storyline, and I'm glad I have my own DVD of it without any scratches and stuff. So, and yeah, and there's a video game based on it, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles mashup. But of course, the voice actors are voiced by 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Well, makes sense. And you, Fresho?
Okay, if I remember correctly, I think when I used to have on demand back when I lived in my well, I'm gonna say like my fourth house. So yeah, back when I lived in a different neighborhood, and it was in 2012, and I said that it was the second best thing to ever come from the Ninja Turtles to me as a whole, because yeah, it was very interesting as to, since the Turtles are done, like, after having their last final battle with Shredder, now dealing with another different type of villain, and them being separated, and then coming back to just, try to become the Turtles again.
Yes, I agree with you with that, especially with the whole movie itself. I especially like, the CGI for this, because at the time I was still watching Tmnt 2012 at the time, and I was like, yeah, this is like CGI but more darker. Yeah.
You sure about that? I mean,
think about it, because of the story arc, especially with Leonardo.
Well,
Yeah.
of course, but I mean, the Nickelodeon version is way darker. Come on.
I mean, yeah, you got that, but with Leo's arc, still being a leader, but what I liked was that fight with him and Raph. I was like, oh, this is too dark.
Yeah, and of course, that's where he found out that Rav had his own identity of his own called the Night Watcher, which is basically Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Batman.
Yes. Yeah.
And yeah, with the separation and all that, Mikey was working as, what was it?
He was a party cheerleading entertainer.
Birthday party mascot.
Yeah. And remember what Donto was?
Wasn't
He was like a tech support kind of guy.
Yeah. But yeah, but the whole time, the departure, it gave the Turtles a little bit of time to focus on themselves, but again, it doesn't feel the same, without the four of them together.
I know, and of course, ever since Leonardo come back, Splinter have Leonardo and his brothers not to do any fighting, only train or whatever, until you work as a team. But of course, they didn't listen to Splinter, and they kind of got bruised up and stuff.
Well, technically, that was Rap's fault because, of course, rebellious. That was his fault.
Yeah.
And of course, the new villain that we get introduced to is Max Winters.
Yeah, even when
He's not an ordinary human, because he lived many years ago, because he's actually immortal because of the special curse thing from the stars alignment, whatever. And then four of his brothers and one sister and got turned to stone, and then 13 monsters came out of the portal, and yeah. But the reason he was technically a villain, but he realized what he has done, he wants to make up for his mistake, so he wants to capture all 13 monsters. But of course, the statue generals want to be immortal forever, so they stall of getting the 13th monster, and yeah.
Yeah. And I also like the design for April. I know people have their other opinions, but I kind of like her ninja suits.
Me too. And yeah, it's based on Kill Bill.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the Bride. Yeah, that's her name.
Oh. Well, it's just like Kill Bill thing because I don't watch it enough to, and you know.
Yes, even though it is the movie, and yes, her objective is to kill Bill, but her name is the bride. Yeah, Uma Thurman, the bride. Yeah.
All right. And the fact is that okay. Here's the thing, though. They should have made a movie like this, but make it with Shredder, and because they don't know what happened to a Shredder besides them defeating it all, but like how. And of course.
Well, in the original comics, of course, they did kind of kill him off. Besides, I think it was Peter Lair's decision to, not include Shredder because, well, since he's always seen as the Turtles' main antagonist, he wanted to try something different. That's why he did it.
All right.
That's a good point because... Oh, no. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, they did bring Karai along, so that's a start.
I mean, yeah, I do agree with your point first because in 2003, they only brought Shredder, not Bebop and Rocksteady. Think about that.
Yeah, that is true. And they did reference Bebop on a Rocksteady, though, because remember that Roddy dude, Jinosuke, which is Usagi's friend, dressed up as Rocksteady.
Yeah. I saw that. I immediately knew, why he dressed as Rocksteady. But yeah, but the movie itself, yes, it had some heartwarming, moments here and there, but mostly, just trying to, stop the full plans of Max Winters, which, eventually. But with Master Splinter, a different kind of design, I liked it.
Yeah, of course, him having a brown skin color much to his 80s counterpart.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Well, one of my favorite scenes, of course, is when Mikey was skateboarding in the sewers and to the song "Rip It Up," one of the best songs that I've heard during the time, and it always gets me.
Oh yeah, and the fact that he did so well too, and I bet nobody would be able to find a secret entrance unless they pull some kind of lever.
Exactly. Of course, another good scene was the fighting scene at the end.
Right.
And of course, that those lines from Master Splinter saying "We should do this all the time." I still got it. It's very important since even though you haven't been doing anything for a while, you still manage to have some awesome skills that are stored inside of you.
Yeah, if you retire or something and you actually have some fighting skills, of course you still got it. For example, in Benjamin Oliver's the episode End of an Era, Future Max, of course, he was planning on retiring, and he kind of beat up Future Dr. Emerald, and he said, "This old man still's got it."
Yes. We call it.
Oh wait, let me guess. That one scene where Raph was finding a monster at that restaurant?
Yes, I was about to bring that up.
Oh yeah, because there's a gremlin type of deal. Of course, it's called the Jersey Devil, and he's trying to fight him. He's like, "Oh, cute, look at you!" And he started biting him and started attacking him and stuff. And of course, he defeated him with a smoke pellet. But the diner cook is afraid of them and stuff. He's trying to say that he's not to steal anything and stuff, but he's still afraid of him.
You know how panicky
it's like with Batman, because a lot of people either are afraid of him or hate on him because of his vigilantiness. Vigilance, that's the right word.
Vigilantism. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Let's see here. What other ones was there?
Remember that I was first showed Donnie, he's trying to call people because of tech support, and he's like, "I'm not your enemy, I'm just Donnie, your whatever he said, sir." And I'm sorry, ma'am.
Yeah. Remember the Cornell from the beginning of the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was an interesting scene, and it was pretty badass.
Oh yeah, and I didn't realize that was John Macho.
Dude!
So I
stab him. No, I'm just kidding.
God dang it!
These messages.
Okay, edit that out.
No need to, because since you didn't really say the full name, I mean, it doesn't really kind of count in by my logic. I mean, even though I'm just playing a little bit, but still.
but that Colonel guy, did he get killed?
I mean, like, I hope not. That would have been a little bit too far for Leo.
I mean,
Yeah, because the way he like screamed and stuff, we don't know exactly what happened.
yeah. I mean, but I must say, for Max Munch's brothers and sister, they had really cool designs as well.
Which one is your favorite?
Let's see here.
General Gatto, yeah.
Oh, that one. That has like saber-tooth tiger, I guess.
I mean, if you look it up and stuff, so. Let's see.
And well, I also like the one General Aguli, I believe that's how you say it.
Aguila.
Aguila, yeah. I just like
That
the
looks
voice.
like,
go ahead.
yeah. His helmet looks like an eagle.
Well, yeah, legit, because in Spanish it means eagle.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I might dumbfound it then. Wait a minute.
Because
General Gato, because
It's-
that translates to cat.
yes,
Yeah.
And General Sir Tmnt, that might be snake.
it is snake. So yeah, clever what they did.
And I don't know what the other guy is, because they never brought up his name, so I don't know what his is.
Mm.
And of course, he never spoke. I wish he did.
But yeah, unlike the other movies, like from the like back in the '80s, the Michael Bay ones, to like now we have Seth Rogen's like project. This one was like one of the best.
Exactly.
Agreed.
Yeah. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, what I personally really do like is just the end song Shell Shock from Gym Class Heroes. It's one of the best songs I've ever heard, and just always makes me think of the Turtles every time.
Exactly.
All right, I found out who the last one is. The big guy, General Mono.
Mm.
And of course, Mono is monkey, so he's like a gorilla then. Very fitting.
And what's more, like, and final thoughts, again, it is the second greatest gift from the Ninja Turtles that I've seen. Nothing
Exactly.
I'm glad I got used to it. I don't know what year I saw it. I know it came out in 2007, but I might have seen it like a couple years after. So, but it's still a really great movie, Infinity.
Yeah, despite like the critics and like how many scores it got, it was still a great movie. You can't change my mind otherwise.
I know. Screw the critics. What they mean.
The casting characters.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
First up,
wait,
Leonardo.
Slow the freak down.
Alright,
Sorry.
I'm about to say something similar to like how we did it with what was it? I think was it Over the Hedge? Oh no, it was when we were doing the SpongeBob movie review. So for this occasion, of course, we're gonna take turns. So it doesn't get
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. And speaking of SpongeBob movie, I was actually watching a little bit of that earlier on TV.
So yeah, we're gonna take turns. Okay, first you're gonna talk about Leonardo. Christian, you're gonna talk about Raphael. I'm gonna talk about Mikey. I'll also talk about Donnie. And let's see here. Of course, Christian, you can also talk about Max. Fresh, you can talk about April. Christian, you can talk about Casey. And let's see here. What other ones? Of course,
Karai?
Yeah, Karai. Well, do you know much about the actor though?
No, that's her only voice role.
That's alright. But of course, we can also talk about the generals like all together, to be fair.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about the colonel and Fresh, you could talk about the narrator.
Alright, yeah, sure.
And I think that's. And I'll take for Splinter. So we're all good.
All right.
All right. So Fresh, start us off.
Yes. Yes, Leo in this incarnation, yes, since Master Splinter sent him away in order for him to become a better, much more stronger, capable leader, it was good for him, as he not only was forced to, he just did it in order for Raphael, since they both have an animosity towards each other, but despite still being brothers, it's just very hectic. So he just tries and tries as much as he can, and I can relate to that. Especially when he said, "I can't go back failure," because it just hits much more different. But I would have to say, like, he just strives to, well, take his responsibilities as a leader very seriously, and oh, and I guess and yes, as and like that one part where he was being blamed for actually causing them to go into battle, even though it was Raph's fault. Like, there are no excuses when you are the leader. It's just uncomfortable for me. I could just feel his pain and his frustration, and of course that one part where him and Raph did have that fight with Raph almost killing him. It was like, so is this how you're gonna do me? This is kind of like why you're not ready.
Oh, and he deserved.
Oh, okay. And so I said all I said, and now all that's left is James Arnold Taylor's incarnation, and he did pretty decent, making him feel just strong, trying to get back into the game, trying to get his crap together, and he did amazing.
I agree, because
it's like one of the ones how I got used to James Arnold Taylor besides Johnny Test.
Oh yes, but I gotta say, this has to be James's top one badass role if you have to agree.
I agree.
Yeah. Of course, besides Obi-Wan Kenobi from Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Oh yeah, but I gotta say, with his version of Leo, as we said before, it kind of reminded me a little bit of Steph Green's a little bit, but goddamn, James, he's got some range.
He did.
I know.
But yeah, for Leo and James himself, Infinity.
Yeah.
Exactly. Again, he did it perfectly. I'm glad they made the right choice.
Alright, Christian, next up is you for Raphael.
Yep. Voiced by Nolan North himself. So, of course, this is touching Raph. No surprise that he's a chipper and stuff. But not only that, but he has his own identity. Ever since Leo left, he doesn't want to sit around anymore, sit all day, whatever. So every night, he puts on a suit and he dubs himself the Night Watcher, which is basically Batman, but without the cape, of course, boomerangs and stuff. But he does have smoke pellets and ball and chain, which that's how I got used to that kind of weapon, which was really cool. And of course, people are afraid of him. And then later one night, Leonardo finally faced off against the vigilante and found out that this was his brother. And then Raphael explained to Leo that he is sick and tired of listening to his orders, and that's where they started to fight. Sai versus Katana. And then a close battle, Raphael broke his katanas and then plunged the katanas right next to Leonardo to the ground, and they stared at each other. And then Raphael realized what he has done, and he runs away by his mistake. And then, of course, Leo gets captured by the generals, and then he was trying to run back after him, but he failed. And then he started getting his anger, not as bunch of, but just throwing stuff at each other. And then he calmly explains what happened. And then Splinter said, we must get him and stuff. So, but yeah, this version of Raphael, Nolan did an excellent job. And I didn't know that this was Nolan until, I found out later. And I can hear it, too. You can hear Deadpool in his voice.
I mean, yeah, because Deadpool's his top role. Other than Deadpool, of course, he's known for playing Superman and Superboy from Young Justice.
And Raccoon from that one Telltale's Guardians of the Galaxy game.
Well, yes, speaking of that, he also voiced Rocket Raccoon. Let's see here. Of course, yeah, Nathan Drake, Boonsky from Breadwinners.
Desmond Miles.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, Desmond Miles as well. Also, keep going.
Let's see, was it... No, who was it? Oh, yeah, Tiny Tiger, but which one first? Which version?
Yeah, the DS version of Crash of the Titans.
But of course, he also in that game, he also play Dr. Engine. I like this version, though.
Same here. And he was also one of the many dudes to take care of multiple different other Ninja Turtles characters, like Splinter, Leonardo, Agent Bishop, the Krang, and Shredder.
That's impressive, taking on a lot of roles, because I know he also does live action roles. And the fact that he auditioned for Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. And not only that, he also auditioned for Ben 10.
I mean, yes. But yeah, Nolan's performance, it was amazing. I put him second place. Of course, first place being, Sean Astin.
Yeah. I give it a 10 out of 10.
Infinity.
Right there, Michelangelo. Yeah, like how the others, he's just a party dude, yes, as a party mascot. He just wants his brothers to come back together, because he's a cool dude, And yeah, I like how Michael Kelly played him in this one, because yeah, I first got introduced to him in Superhero Squad where he plays Silver Surfer.
Yeah, the fact is that it says Mikey Kelly and going seeing Michelangelo, that's a bit ironic.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he also played Rev Runner's brother, Rip Runner. And yeah, he was also in Harvey Beaks, where he plays Techno Bear's father, right? But he's a turtle, which had a lot of explaining. But
ironic.
Yeah. But I just like his how he played this character overall.
Yes, I agree too. Everything.
Yeah, for him, I give him Infinity as well.
And Harvey Beaks is called the inspiration.
Yeah, because he is the inspiration for everything.
It's like the song "You're the Inspiration" by Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. But yeah, Mikey Kelly voicing Michelangelo, he did really good, like matching his personality and stuff. Almost like similar to 2003 Michelangelo.
Oh yeah, Wayne Grayson's one. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I kind of felt bad for him that he almost got beaten down by a lot of kids.
Yeah. But
Well, there's like a deleted scene. I saw special features, like it showed like one kid like kick him in the nuts.
Jesus Christ.
And like while he was driving, he forgot he didn't have his suit on, so there's like a driver there, and according to like documentary and stuff, that he has to like pretend, and he's also has a phone with Donnie too. And I pretend like he's a robot or something.
Yeah. But as again, I give both him and Michael Kelly, Infinity.
Once more.
Me too.
Yeah. Next up, we got Mitchell Wilfred. Yeah, he played Donatello, of course. Yeah, this is actually how I got introduced to him overall.
Same.
Me too.
Yeah,
And his last role was in Vampire Arena. He hasn't voiced anyone since.
Dude, I swear to God, if you keep saying that, I'm gonna lose it.
I can't help it.
I mean, he's still active. That's the thing. Because yeah, he was also in Friends, My Cousin Vinny. He was in Transformers, Robots in Disguise 2015, where he plays Fix-It. But
Yeah.
His version of Donatello, yeah, he really matched the voice. It kind of reminded me of like the 80s Donatello.
Yeah, and maybe a little bit of the 2003 too.
You're not wrong about that. Yes, you're on par.
Yeah. But what were your favorite parts with Donnie?
Besides what I mentioned when you first introduced to him, oh yeah, when after April explained about Winter's backstory, and then he's like examining the dart that hit Raph, he's like, well, tell me this has Winter's name written all over, and they ask, well, how do you know that? It's because this has Winter's name written all over it, because it actually does have his name on the dart. And also, that scene where Donnie was like explaining about the stars, and Mikey was like skateboarding on a ramp, and he said, so when like it's coming, but monsters come out. And it's like the most smartest thing he said, and Donnie actually agreed with that, and then Mikey just crashed somewhere. That was great.
Yeah. Yeah, like I give him and Donatello like Infinity.
Yeah.
10.
Well, I do know some characters he Mitchell Whitfield voiced. I just wish he had a lot more going on, but he still did pretty good.
And before we move on, I just want to show you guys something.
Yeah, this version of April, yeah, she was pretty decent. She did kind of like remind me a little bit of once more, yet again, the 2003 series that we got to bring up.
I think that's what they're supposed to go for, like movie based on the characters of 2003. I think that's what they're supposed to go for.
Maybe.
And that's probably why they had the cast of 2003 voice their versions of TMNT for the video game Tmnt Smash Up. So I think that's what they were going for. But that's pretty smart.
And just like many other different versions, she remains strong and confident and means well about what she does with the Turtles and Casey. And yeah, Sarah Michelle Gellar, she was astounding. At first got to really know her by the live action Scooby-Doo movies and yeah.
Same.
So yeah, this is how I got introduced to this lady, and I found out that she's in Robot Chicken. She voiced Daphne before.
I mean, cause hello, Daphne from live action.
Yeah, no shit.
Obviously, like yeah. Of course she was of course she played the main character of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
And she also played Tila in Master of the Universe 2021. And she played some character named Phyllis and Jenny from American Dad.
Alright, Jenny.
And she voiced the Wendy dolls from Small Soldiers.
I mean, you shouldn't be surprised. We mentioned this during the birthday stream from February with Tara Strong, Joss Brolin, Scott Menville, Christina Ricci.
Right. But yeah, I agree with Fresh that this interpretation of April is really good. Like, of course, at first showed her in the jungle, like a boy told her about the ghosts of the jungle, which of course is Leonardo, and that is what she not only like looking for Leo to bring him back, but also like on a research to find the statues, which turned out to be the statue generals for Winters. But yeah, and yeah, I really do like this version of April, and Sarah did a really good job for 10 out of 10.
1,000.
9.
Yeah. Alright, next up is, Master Splinter. Can you stop recording for 1 second first?
Good, go ahead.
Okay, so with this version of Master Splinter, yes, I like what they brought in for his version. Like, yes, bring in an actual Japanese actor Mako was the first Japanese actor to play Master Splinter for the first time, which I like.
And that is a really smart choice of what they're doing.
Yeah, and his version, it was kind of like awesome, but it was kind of sad in between because after recording the lines, the next day for production, he sadly passed away. And he still did great, but it was still a good idea to still like bring out the character, and they brought in Greg Baldwin for that, which was a great idea.
Yes, it was. And not only Master Splinter, which how I got introduced to Mako, I also got introduced to him in Rugrats in Paris, where he voices Mr. Yamaguchi. Sorry.
Yeah, he did awesome. Of course, fans would know him as Uncle Iroh from Avatar, and of course, Aku from Samurai Jack. Two of his memorable roles.
And a really good dedication for his voice for Iroh that episode, because for Iroh, his son died. I don't know how in the Avatar series, but of course he's saying his son in Chinese, and then it showed a memory of Maku. So
because that picture that represents his son, it was supposed to represent Maku when he was a very young, soldier.
Wow.
And he was actually crying during the recording section because that was his last time voicing Iroh.
Wow, that even makes it sadder. Oh my lord.
Marco was one of those actors you didn't really expect from, especially with these kind of voices. From hearing Iroh to Aku, that was incredible talent for him.
Exactly. Wow, I did not know this about Maku. Again, that makes it sadder. But, however, like you said with Greg Baldwin for Splinter and Tmnt 2007, Greg Baldwin also took over for Iroh. And not only Iroh, also Aku for Samurai Jack.
what he did was honorable. And fun fact, well, it's actually also a sad fact. What was it? The producers were asking him to sing that song, but he's like, no, he respected Maku and he wanted him to sing that song.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I'm glad Greg honored that and let him sing it before his passing.
But other than that, I did like his leadership throughout, just being the great mentor at the Turtles, And what can you say? He just kind of reminds me, of course, 80s, 2003, and a little bit of 2012 just got combined together, and that's what he did.
Yeah, and one thing about Splinter that he watches stories, and specifically Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, that was wow. It was surprising.
Yeah, and we got to Gilmore Girls. Wait, Splinter watches Gilmore Girls? I mean, I've never watched the show myself, but I have heard the name before.
Hey, it's like those characters you don't expect having, of course, Master Splinter has a soft side, but, that was even surprising enough.
Yeah, but for this version of Splinter, recipes to Mako. Okay, how do you say his last name?
No clue. Just go with it.
All right.
Yeah.
Iwamatsu. I think that's how you say it.
Don't,
So
okay,
recipes
yes. Don't make it any harder than it already is.
Sorry. So yes, recipes for him. I give him Infinity a plus and a million plus. He's just that great.
I agree with you. I still think, Greg Bowen for taking over his mantles, he did a good job along with Maku.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And next up, Christian, go with Casey Jones.
This is a shocker to find out that the actor that voiced him was Chris Evans, the man who has played Human Torch in the 2004 Fantastic Four, and of course Captain America himself.
2005.
Sorry,
Yes.
2005.
But yeah, he did really good, and this is actually how I got introduced to him in animation.
Yeah, me too. Of course, live action was Fantastic Four, and wow, they did a really decent job. And again, based on 2003, a little bit. And fun fact, and the Tmnt 2000 Smash Up game, there's alternate costumes. Well, of course, there's only one costume, and then they have a second one, and his second one is a red one based on his 2003 appearance.
Yes.
So yeah, he first showed up. April was calling for him because he's supposed to bring a delivery truck for the statues, and apparently he was sleeping on the couch.
Yeah.
And he's pretty clumsy. Of course he was dressed up really nice, bringing in, and April told him, please be careful. There's a lot of precious artifacts here. Come on, I was born careful. And then he bumped one of those phases and just caused the security system to start.
Mm-hmm.
But what's your opinion on this version of Casey?
Chris himself, with the attitude and, this just personality of Casey, he did really good.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, and I give him a 100.
Yeah, me too. Again, a real surpriser.
Yes, and Christian also next up is Max Winters.
Yes. So, for animation, this is how I found out Patrick Stewart voiced him, of course, when I got older, but how I really got used to Patrick Stewart is, of course, the X-Men movies, where he played none other than Professor Charles Xavier, or Professor X.
For me, it was American Dad and the Jimmy Neutron movie.
Wait, he is American Dad?
Yes.
Yeah. He plays Stan's boss.
Oh. Oh! Whoa. Okay, anyway, so yeah, Max Winters, of course, we didn't know that he was a man in the golden armor at the beginning of the film, of the nearest trail story of the general. But of course, we really got introduced to Max Winters when April showed up with the statues. Of course, they know each other and stuff, and of course, he's telling her about his life and stuff, and apparently, he has a secret life. The fact that the statues are actually his brothers and sister, and yeah, he brought them back to life with a special device of his, and yeah, and of course, no one knew this, but because of his immortality, because of that curse, he'd been throughout, apparently in Greek and Egypt, and even become a pharaoh himself. So he did a lot in his life. It's kind of like the DC villain. What was it? Vandal Savage. Yeah, it's Vandal Savage. You heard of that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but even though he's a villain, he's not trying to be. He's just making up his mistake, as I mentioned earlier. But after everyone was sent back, the monsters, even the generals, back to the portal, he got his mortality back, and he vanished.
Yeah. But overall, Max, it was kind of mixed here and there when first watching it. Then when you eventually get to the end, just explaining all the details, eventually understanding it, you get what he was going for. But I still appreciate Patrick Stewart's performance.
Me too. I give it a 10 out of 10.
Same here. And next up, even though we don't know the actor for Cry, we can still talk about her.
Well, yeah. I think she's an interpretation of 2003 Cry 2. However, I have not seen episodes with her in 2003, so I'm not sure how her personality is. But, of course, I know how her voice sounds because of the game I've been talking about a lot. But there is version of Cry in the movie. She works for Winters and stuff. She is tasked, along with the Foot Ninja, to track down the 13 monsters. And of course, unaware to her that other people are after the general statues, which do a better job than they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with what all Christian said. I give it a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Me too. And my favorite part is Casey was doing a distraction, and there's a knock on the gate, and she opens you gotta be kidding me, and it showed Casey wearing Mikey's turtle hat.
Yeah.
And now for the true main antagonist, General Aguila.
Hold on. I feel like Fresh should explain it because he did play him when we did the transcript.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yes, you're correct.
Even though I saw it I'm gonna say 3 times, all they ever do is just try to just bring every monster together in order to take over the world or some crap like that. That's all really I know.
Do you want me to explain it?
Yeah.
Okay, so of course, General Aguila, voiced by one of my favorite voice actors, my number 1 favorite voice actor, Kevin Michael Richardson, and I was wait, is that who's that familiar? It's it's similar to Dark Laser and Shredder, and and when I got older, I realized that his helmet resembles an eagle, which his name is Spanish for eagle, and of course he's the leader of the other generals, and of course he's doing his task, and then he first he went up to Winters, and he's there's it's almost time for the curse to be broken and stuff, and he feels that he's gonna be betrayed and stuff, because if the monsters have found, the curse will be broken, and it doesn't want to have mortality again. He wants immortality, so he wants to betray Winters back before he betrays them. So, but of course a battle ensues, and then they almost won, but of course the 13th monster arrived, and then they went back to the portal. And briefly, of course, if you do it in slow motion and pause, you can actually see them slowly going back to humanity while they're going into the portal.
Yes. And I was really outstanded by Kevin. Well, at this point, no, he should be, because he's just that versatile, especially what he's doing right now with the Mario movie.
Yeah. And of course, even though they did a bunch of screen time, well, not really a bunch of screen time, but they barely talked.
I mean, yeah, but still cool to see these kind of designs with these voices. For his character overall, 1,000. It was just badass.
I know. Me too. And for General Serpentine, she only had like one line. She only spoke like towards the end of the movie. But do you know the actress that played her, Paula Mattioli?
I thought she looked familiar, but turned out to be the wrong person I was talking about. But not really. But she did good too, only for one line though. But goddamn. Of course,
I guess maybe an A for her.
Yeah, and for General Gata. Voiced by Fred Tatasciore. Like, yeah.
I was shocked that that's Fred Tatasciore. And it doesn't even sound like Fred to me. It sounds like almost like, I don't know, either T. Bradley Baker or Steve Bloom.
I mean, again, with Fred, you know, you could be surprised with anything, especially when he played Knuckles last year.
Yeah, and the fact that General Gato translates to cat, which makes sense because it does like growl like either a jaguar or a cheetah, and it's like spots of a leopard and like teeth of a saber-toothed tiger. That's really fitting for him. And yeah, he's pretty cool and stuff. And he like certain lines like witnesses, he's not the 13th month or whatever. And but he's an alright character. Fred Tatasciore did really good on him. 10 out of 10.
I give him a Hulk smashing score of 1,000,000.
Very funny.
And yeah, the Colonel, voiced by John DiMaggio, of course, you know his notable roles like Jake the Dog, Bender, Dr. Draken, Marcus Felix, Raph. I say, like, he did really good playing this character overall, like, but his intentions are like towards the people. But I still like the performance.
Yeah, but of course we didn't see the last of him because let's see Leonardo like take out his men and then he about to take him out, but we don't know if he's alive or dead.
That's what we'll see next time. But overall, yeah, I give it, yeah, of course, like 1,000.
Me too.
Hey.
Yeah. And lastly, yeah. Well, we can still talk more about it, but yeah. Yeah, this was a surprising one. Yeah, the diner cook was voiced by Kevin Smith.
Yes.
So what do you know about Kevin Smith?
Well, first, you go ahead.
Okay, well, he's mostly known for playing Silent Bob in the Jay and Silent Bob films, and he's mostly has done some directing, and like one of the most coolest things that I ever got introduced to him was when he was with Stan Lee in this documentary of Stan Lee's Mutants, Monsters, and Marvels. It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
That's pretty interesting. And yeah, he was like mainly there, like giving guys some coffee, and got freaked out by the little Jersey Devil, and tried to call for help using the silent alarm, and then got scared by the Night Watcher.
Yeah.
That's it.
Even though it's a minor role, I gave it my 6 out of 10.
I give it a 7.
Hey.
Alright.
And now for the narrator, Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah, first go ahead.
Okay, all he ever does is just discuss the Turtles, about their origins, their battle with Shredder, what they do, and of course the origins of Max Winters, and that's all it is. And of course Lawrence Fishburne having the most one of the most coolest voices in the whole world. How I really got introduced to him was Akilah and the Bee.
Same here.
I got this to him in, I hope it's the same guy if I can find it.
What, Silver Surfer from Fantastic Four?
Yeah, that's one of them. Yes.
Of course.
I thought he appeared in Rodalon with Kevin Hart.
He did.
And, okay, yeah, that's what I thought. But
And
yeah, he's a really good actor, and ain't also in the Matrix, or is that a different?
Yes.
yeah, he is in the Matrix. He also played the villain Osmosis Jones.
I gotta see that sometime.
Yeah, for his fantastic performance, Infinity.
I agreed.
Okay, so with the additional voices, I actually caught on who played who with the additional voices. Like, one of them being Billy West. Yeah, he played, like, the announcer from the TV. That, in my opinion, when he was, like, you know, doing the lines, it kind of sounded like Stan Lee when Billy was doing the voice.
Really?
Yeah. And Great Delilah and Tara Strong, I noticed them immediately because Tara played the mother and Great Delilah played the son from the beginning of the film.
Or don't
Oh yeah, that's right.
don't forget, Grey DeLisle was also credited as those birthday kids.
Nice.
Oh.
And of course, Bradley Baker played those little creatures.
Oh yeah.
And Jim Cummings, he played one of the robbers, like the main leader. And you know.
Oh yeah. Thank you for reminding me of that. I love like that one dude was like, "Hey, look guys, look, I've got a stolen toaster."
And yeah, that other guy was voiced by Nolan North.
Oh yeah.
Of course, other additionals you might recognize is like, of course, yes, Jeff Bennett, Jennifer Hill, Jess Harnell, Phil Lamar, and much more, which was fantastic.
Indeed.
But yeah, done with the cast.
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Yes. When I first saw it, I didn't expect all this to happen in this movie. It was just shocking and yes, as I said before, really dark, but it was still a cool, badass movie to watch back in the day. And yeah, my final score for it is like Infinity and 7. Get it? 2007.
Yeah.
Clever. And yes, I agree with your score, and I just love how they made 2 video games out of it. One based on a movie storyline, of course, a fighting game based on the characters themselves. But yeah, glad I got introduced to this movie. Really good.
And you, Fresho?
I'm like, I basically said like everything that I could. I don't want to really repeat myself, but I give it 98.